The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Doing that thing you do, breaking my heart into a million pieces, like you always do. And you don't mean to be cruel, you never even knew about the heartache I've been going through. Well, I try to forget you, girl, but it's just so hard to do. Every time you do that thing you do,
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. For the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, and XZBN. 1-800-610-7035 worldwide toll-free is my toll-free number. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. X-Zone Nation, my first guest tonight is Dr. Garland Landrith. And Dr. Landrith, he is a gentleman that, well, let me just put it to you this way. His website is entitled The Universe Lies Within, and he is a cutting-edge quantum psychologist, we can call, healer, whose research was cited in the film What the Bleep, uses quantum field technology combined with tapping on acupuncture points and the heart math to teach people how to create the life of their dreams. Joining me now is Dr. Garland Landrith. And Garland, always great having you with us here in the X-Zone. How have things been since you and I last talked?
It's great to be back. Man, you guys have gone through a lot of changes since the last time I was on, about 4 years ago, I think.
My gosh, we're growing each and every day, my friend. Each and every day.
I know, and I'm excited for you. And the influence you're having on the collective consciousness really, really is exciting.
Well, thank you.
You are making a difference in the world.
That is much appreciated coming from you, Garland. Garland, how did you get involved in the work that you're doing?
Well, you know, when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And as you probably know, I did the first studies that were ever proven that groups of people meditating can change the outside world. And but when I was a kid, I started having dreams that would come true. And these dreams were, I mean, sometimes I have like 3 or 4 of them in one day come true. It's like watching a movie that you've already seen before, except this time you're in the middle of the movie. So I decided that there was something more to this life than you could feel, touch, and see. So I actually became a psychologist simply to measure meditation. And so I went to graduate school. I started TM, Transcendental Meditation, and I found so many amazing benefits that I said, I want to investigate this. There's something weird, something amazing about this technique. And so that's how I got started.
You nearly said weird.
Yeah, well, weird from what we what is normally going on in people's consciousness. It's funny because I never told people about all the dreams I had. Yeah. But later on, I was to find that that's not necessarily a unique thing. because I've been giving, I've probably taught 10,000 people in seminars I do all across the United States.
Yeah.
And one of the things I ask people all the time is how many people have had dreams that have come true, because that's kind of like one of my pet projects. More than half of the people who attend my seminars have raised their hands.
Well, you and I were talking off air a couple of weeks ago, and I told you the only difference between a dream and reality in my book is just doing it.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I think we're, from the quantum perspective, our dreams and our thoughts are real.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the interesting thing about it. Then the other question becomes, and how come we're blocked? How come we're not living it as well as we should?
All right, let's talk about that when we come back from this commercial break. X-Zone Nation, our very special guest this hour, is a good friend of the X-Zone, Dr. Garland Landrith. His website is www.theuniverselieswithin.com. That's www.theuniverselieswithin.com, and you can see a video that we have on the Paranormal Broadcast Network from Dr. Garland. Once again, www.theuniverselieswithin.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. I'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break with Dr. Garland as we continue talking about, you've got it, X-Zone Nation, the universe that lies within each and every one of you. Dreams do come true. We'll tell you how on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
People are talking about people. I hear them whisper. You won't believe it. They think we're lovers, kept undercover. I'll just ignore it, but they keep saying we laugh just a little too loud, stand just a little too close. We stare just a little too long. Maybe they're seeing something we don't, darling.
And welcome back, everyone. Dr. Garland Landrith is our guest this hour. www.theuniverselieswithin.com. Garland, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about how people can actually live the lives that they dream about. But why do we block ourselves?
Well, this is the really intriguing thing. And I know with your audience there, they're pretty sophisticated because you bring in some amazing people on your radio and your TV network. But if we're indeed quantum beings, now the way I define quantum beings is beyond time, space, limitations, and I'm sure you would agree with that kind of concept because of your
certainly do,
statement,
yeah.
the brilliant statement you said, we can create anything we want to. So how come we're not living it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we are on the other side before we come down here, if we can have this kind of ability before we go, on this side, you can imagine the kind of ability we had on the other side. So we must have known everything that's going to happen to us. But in order for us to be a legitimate experience, in order for this to be a true growth experience,
Mm-hmm.
we had to chosen some blocks so we wouldn't know everything that's supposed to happen to us. We'd have to have some challenge. So we chose blocks actually before we even came here. So that blocks are part of the whole deal.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It does. It certainly does. Because isn't quantum physics now showing that we create our own reality as it happens, that as we think it, we can actually make it happen?
Yes, and actually we can change the past.
Right.
If the research is to be proved,
Mm-hmm.
then I think we can even change the past. And I do some of that stuff when I work with my clients. Is I change old memory patterns and brain pathways in the brain to completely change them around to new memory patterns. So, but if we're blocked before we even came here, because we can. Let me give you an example. This will kind of make it real clear. Well, I sometimes do works with psychics and.
Mm-hmm.
To work on them and things. One of my favorite psychics was a guy named Vincent from New York. And he was so good. St. John's Hospital took him in to test him on diagnosing people. He was able to diagnose people better than anybody else, even better than machines. But they did something really amazing. They had him guess horse races. He guessed every one right. Amazing. Well, when I was, because I never heard a psychic could do that.
Right.
But when I was 17 years old, he told me that I would be doing some research on some psychic stuff. And when I got the research done, I was, to let him know because he wanted to know about it. And I looked at him like he was crazy. 17-year-old raging hormones. The most important thing in my mind at that moment was wine, women, and song, not necessarily in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, then later on, when I went to graduate school and then I started meditation and all that stuff, I said, wow, I've got to get back in touch with Vincent.
Right.
And I couldn't find him anywhere. And this is a world-class psychic, better than anybody I've ever met, by far. And he used to tell me he had the dreams too, except that he had them in waking life. He could visualize what's going to happen, just like a little dream would come to him. And so I called around, and nobody knew what happened to him. And I thought, this is strange, because a psychic that good, people know. And so finally I got a hold of one of his relatives. It turns out that he had died of AIDS.
Oh, my heavens.
He couldn't see his own stuff.
How is that possible?
Well, again, because on the other side, we chose blocks. Because if we have that kind of ability coming here, it no longer is, there's not the challenge.
Is that why psychics cannot, predict the winning numbers of the lottery? They can't find where the next diamond mine is going to be, how the stock market is going to operate?
Well, Vincent used to say, and a lot of psychics have told me similar kinds of things, that he only wanted to do it to help other people.
But if that's the case, why couldn't the psychics tell the other people the winning numbers of the lottery, where the stocks are going to be?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think it's also a block to think that we can't use this technology to help other people.
Is it
using money? Because I think it's a money block.
Is it possible that there's something within the universal mechanism that doesn't allow people from giving information that may actually change the time-space continuum?
And that's a brilliant idea, and I never thought of it exactly like that. I've thought of it from an angle of different, similar to that. But and it may be that there's. I think one of the things that we're going through is we come down here to learn about pain so we can help other people with their pain. Because right now, the way things are, it's a mess down here.
Big time.
But what this new tech, what the research that I've been doing, though, is exciting, because what I've been finding is we can, through group effort, change the outside world. Mm-hmm. Now, though you mentioned What the Bleep, they talked about some of my research in the movie What the Bleep. Well, we took 4,000 meditators into Washington, D.C. and actually changed the crime rates while I was there. Yeah. And by the way, we're going to come back to these blocks in a few minutes.
Sure.
But this kind of relates back to what because you're kind of taking a cosmic angle on this in this conversation. So I thought I'd go with what you're saying here, because it really does make a lot of difference. So what I'm saying is that doing certain things can make a difference in the outside world. Now, if we can meditate and do this, then it means that our inner world, our inner thoughts, are connected to the outside world. This is huge, because there's no known mechanism in science that can account for these amazing findings. Now, in this kind of stuff, I kind of lump the prayer research, where people pray for people and they get an effect there, along with the meditation research.
Right.
And between both of them, there's been well over 300 or 400 well-documented studies that shows that our inner thoughts can influence the outside world. Now, from a physical perspective, that is beyond time-space limitations, because there is no energy emanating from our brain.
But you see, Doctor, as far as I can see it, Garland, you're just proving beyond a shadow of a doubt in today's society, using modern scientific means, what religious leaders have known all these years. For example, when you go to church and pray for the betterment or the healing of a parishioner, we know it works.
Yes, and it works more often than it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the interesting. And then we see miracles happen. They don't all the time happen, but we see them often enough to know that the technology is there. But so when I started doing this, I thought to myself, how can we improve this technology? How can we get better at praying? How can we get better at influencing the outside world with our thoughts? And to me, this is the cutting edge stuff. This is the real cutting edge where together we can use these new technologies, to enhance our ability to influence the outside world and, in a way, change the world because before we end up destroying ourselves. The way we're going, it doesn't look very good, but it's funny, it's always darkest before the dawn. What seems like things are really bad, but on many levels, this is the best times I've ever seen because these new technologies, what I call energy technologies, are actually showing us how to remove the blocks so that we can indeed create the life of our dreams.
Sounds like the old saying that I heard so many times when I was a child, and my mother would say, if you confess it, you will possess it.
Beautiful. I like that. And what we're going to do, though, is help that become a reality.
How do we do that?
Yeah, and so this is the other thing. Since the last time I was talking to you, actually, I think we started talking a little bit about the tapping.
Yes.
And then I don't think we developed it. We were going to, I just kind of got really busy. What happened since then is I was talking to you about the tapping as removing blocks. Mm-hmm. And I was saying, basically the idea, now just for your listeners, let me explain a little bit about tapping. Now, what we do with tapping, we tap on the acupuncture points with our fingers. No needles involved, just our fingers. And it somehow changes the body energy pattern, removes blocks so that we can have more power. In the sense, it supercharges our positive thoughts. Because we all know that positive thoughts work, but they don't work as much as well as we want them to. But by using the body energies to enhance the positive thoughts, those positive thoughts become supercharged. And I think what's going on when you tap on the acupuncture points is you're actually getting rid of the old subconscious blocks. Because like I said before, these blocks, we came down and we chose blocks, but we're not aware of these blocks. Mm-hmm. Many people have started to kind of take on to this different theme. Bruce Lipton, who wrote Beyond Biology of Belief, recently was interviewed by Wayne Dyer, and he said in the interview that most of our stuff is in our subconscious, and it happened when we're in the womb and right after we're born. Somehow we got to remove those subconscious doubts. And Deepak Chopra just had a new book out. It's called The Shadows. Same thing. Basically, it's old stuff in our subconscious. So the trick is to somehow get to the subconscious and change those negative thought patterns that are holding us back.
Is it these thought patterns that are holding us back, or is it ourselves, our own insecurities, our own doubt in our abilities that actually holds us back?
And I would say they're one and the same. That's a good way to look at it, mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you the truth, the number one thing that caused those insecurities, we didn't get enough love when we were kids.
So does that mean the more successful a person is, the more love they've received as a child?
Now, that's another good question. Depends on how you define success. They just did a happiness study, the largest study that was ever done. And it was done by Harvard. I think it was a 60-year study. They took people that graduated, I think it was 1959. I could be wrong on the year. And they followed them, a bunch of them, for 60 years. And they wanted to find out what caused happiness. And believe it or not, the number one thing, and these, of course, people in Harvard come from privileged lives. I mean, they have money, they have, access to contacts, networking, all that kind of stuff.
Garland, I'm going to ask you to hold on. I've got to take my news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, a fascinating conversation with a fascinating man. Dr. Landrith Garland is my special guest. www.theuniverselieswithin.com. We'll be back on the other side of this news break as we continue from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. You're listening to the X Zone Radio Show, live and around the world on the Talkstar Radio Network. X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio,
Euro High Definition Radio,
and Star Cable. Our toll-free telephone number worldwide is 1-800-610-7035.
Our email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com.
On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com.
And our website,
www.xzoneradiotv.com.
Dr. Landrith, whose scientific research was cited in the highly acclaimed film What the Bleep Do We Know, has released a new DVD, Tap into Bliss, loosely based on the emotional freedom tapping technique. Dr. Landrith has scientifically proved that what individuals think inside can actually improve themselves and the world they live in. This includes losing weight, getting the ideal job, falling and staying asleep, feeling high on life, as well as many other positive results. Dr. Landrith's unique methods were so highly thought of and effective, he was invited to give a training session for the psychologists at Fort Carson Military Base to help the soldiers returning from the war. These tapping techniques have been featured on programs such as ABC's The View and also on the learning channels I Can Make You Thin. The cutting-edge secret that Tap into Bliss reveals is that stimulating specific energy points within your body will enhance the power of your positive thoughts. This will strengthen your resolve toward change by creating a rush of endorphins similar to a runner's high. You can actually see the energetic bliss on their faces while they are tapping to this song. By tapping on our body energies, we can then transform our negative thought patterns into positive ones. Learn the secrets of the ages with Tap into Bliss. By enhancing the energy behind your intentions, it will allow you to manifest the life of your dreams. Order Tap into Bliss online today.
X-Zone Nation, to order your copy of Tap into Bliss, visit online at www.theuniverselieswithin.com. That's www.theuniverselieswithin.com. Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Garland Landrith is my special guest, and it's always great having you with us, Garland. You were one of the most interesting people that I've ever had the pleasure of talking to, and thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to join us.
Well, I'm excited about being here and being a part of what you're doing to the world. I always admire, in fact, my heart goes out to people that are helping change the collective consciousness, which you are on the forefront right now.
Oh, thank you.
So it's exciting being here.
Garland, my producer asked me to ask you a question, and we're talking about changes, we're talking about cosmic changes, we're talking about the cosmic consciousness. With all this hype that is going on about December the 21st, 2012, and all the doomsday predictions that are looming, how does this affect the universal consciousness? This is a really good question. It can, if enough people actually believe it's going to happen that way, it could actually shift the balance that way. But a lot of people are now saying that it's going to be a shift, but not necessarily anything that we're going to be able to measure in the outside world. I know the TM people, the transcendent, already say the shift has happened. They think it's the shift, not so much in consciousness. People are starting to become more aware of things. Yeah.
And again, what's holding us back, and this is why I come back to the techniques. In order to really get to the place we want to be and need to be, we have to do something about the blocks. And I was giving some hints before we started about how really most of these blocks are because we didn't get enough love when we were kids. Now, when I say that, I want to mention this. It doesn't mean that our parents didn't love us. It means they didn't know how to show it.
Geez, I must be one of the very few fortunate, because my parents showered my brother and I with love. And we, in turn, are doing the same with our children. And
you're also doing the same in a sense with your radio show.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, you're helping cultivate the consciousness of all these people. Yeah, they're kind of like your children. Well, let me tell you a little about this Harvard study. So what they found, they followed these guys for 60 years, and many of them had died, passed on, whatever. And they found the number one thing correlated with happiness was not money, because these guys all had money.
Right.
It was being told, I love you,
Yeah.
and telling people I love you.
I can believe that.
And the second most important was hugs and kisses. And the third thing that's related to happiness was doing some individual self-development, finding out what your problems are.
Yeah.
And it could be many different things. But if they didn't do the self-development thing, it found that almost everybody invariably who didn't do that fell apart around 50 or 60. Their whole lives would fall apart.
Fascinating.
And yeah, so I found that really fascinating. Again, it comes back to the idea we didn't get enough love. Now you're thinking, well, our parents love us. I knew that. But if we didn't get the hugs and kisses, we don't know that. As kids, we don't understand what our parents are going through.
Mm-hmm.
Many of our parents sacrificed a lot to get us to where they were,
Big time.
to where we are right now.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is maybe you've probably heard this one before. I'm going to make sure you have all the things I never had. You know, when they came up from the generation right after the war, right after the Depression, where people had a lot of hand-me-downs.
Yes.
They didn't have the stuff we do. So they wanted to give us material things. But also they came right after the war, and most of the people in the war were suffering from PTSD. And how to deal with PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, they shut down. They didn't talk. That's why they called them the silent generation. But kids need those affectionate type things, otherwise they don't feel safe. And if they don't feel safe, that will be in their subconscious. When they start to manifest, it will hold them back. So that brings us down to the tapping. What I found, and the last time we talked, I found amazing healings individually, but I hadn't tried group tapping to see if we could change the crime rates the same way we did with meditation. And what we did is we looked at this, and we found that groups of people tapping, we actually started in Dallas I think it was about 3 years ago. And we had about 1,000 people tapping. And the reason I wanted to look at other things other than meditation is a lot of people won't do meditation for one reason or other. Some people think it's religious. Some people have a difficult time when they meditate. So I decided to use tapping because it's more universal, easier to do. And I kind of mix a little meditative state while I'm tapping to kind of give you that extra boost in there.
Right.
And what we found was the crime rates went down 25% and stayed down for like 2 years.
For 2 years?
2 years. It's
What?
still going on.
Why did they go back up?
Unbelievable.
Why only 2 years?
Well, that's how long the study's been going.
Oh, I see. So
yeah, I mean, there were some months it was down 35%.
My goodness.
And this was in the worst part of the recession, when usually crimes go up in a recession. In fact, almost all the time they do. And then nobody can account for all this stuff. It's mind-boggling.
All right, is the tapping used as a reference point of focus?
No, the way I teach people how to let go with the tapping. And that's another interesting angle.
Yeah.
Because my theory is that if we're going to use the quantum field to manifest with, it's letting go that's the secret. It's not the intention. The way it's traditionally taught, most manifestation classes people go to, they are taught you've got to put a picture of the BMW. If you want a BMW, you got to put a picture of the BMW on the wall.
Yeah.
You got to have a BMW keychain. You got to clear out the garage for the BMW.
I don't believe that stuff.
Yeah, well, you're right. I don't either. Nobody ever gets a BMW that way. So I think it's the letting go of the intention that's the key.
I think it's actually getting off your butt and making it happen that's the key.
I think that's an important consideration. I think that's probably as important as anything else.
Sure, because a lot of people, when this whole scenario came out about what was it called again? Help me out here, Garland. I've got a blank. I drew a blank spot.
No problem. Sometimes it happens to me.
Yeah. If putting the pictures all over the place and using the key, this, that, and the other thing, it'll happen. But what the main point was that they forgot to tell everybody is that they have to actually work and make it happen. It's not going to manifest itself out of nothing.
Right. Well, what I'm talking about is, again, this comes down to subconscious doubts. Now, what you're saying is true, but I find a lot of people don't go out and do stuff because they have all these subconscious doubts. They won't start their own. I'm working with a chiropractor right now, and she's afraid to start her own business. She doesn't say she's afraid. She doesn't think she's afraid. She just says, well, I don't know if I want to start this. But then she keeps telling me she wants to start it. So she has subconscious doubts. She's afraid to take that step to move forward. And there's so many people in that boat afraid to start their own business. You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit, it's not that simple when you have old stuff. You grew up in a family where you knew you were loved.
Yes.
And that gives you the feeling that life is safe no matter what I do. And look what you've done. You started a little radio show, and look what it's turned into.
Yeah.
Because you believed, you'd had no doubts that there was, because you had the idea that life was going to be safe no matter what. That's because you had love as a child.
Plus self-confidence. And
I'm saying self-confidence is very much intertwined with the idea of getting love as a child.
You see, I don't look at anything as a failure. I look at it as a learning experience. Because without failure, you cannot succeed.
Brilliant. But other people are afraid of failure. That's the difference when you have enough love as a child and you don't.
Wow.
It's the fear of failure because there and this is not in their conscious mind. Because I have to dig down to find the stuff. And what I do is I dig down when I work with my clients.
Right.
I get them to relive some of the childhood pain. We tap out the pain, and all of a sudden they're free. They have this inner strength now to go forward with their lives. And what I do is I tap out the old pain and tap in the new positive affirmations. In other words, we replace the brain pathways, the negative brain pathways, with positive ones by using the tapping on the energy points with your fingers. And you can use that same technology to also pray with. It enhances your prayers. It enhances your ability to get a job. You can also use it to get in the zone. You can also use it to hit a golf ball straight.
Wow.
I don't know if you saw the Olympics when the Chinese divers were diving and winning all those gold medals.
I've got to confess, no, I didn't.
Okay. Well, they had a section where they showed them in the back where they were waiting for the next dive, and they were all tapping on acupuncture points.
Oh wow.
They have this, and I know a few of the guys that were in the Olympics who used tapping to get gold medals. Because blocks are there whether we like them or not. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
When they finally cracked the 500-pound barrier in weightlifting, they couldn't tell the way they did it. They told the guy he was lifting 498 pounds because they tried it 500 many times. He couldn't do it. When they told him it was 498, it was actually 500. He was able to crack the barrier. Again, the doubts were holding him back. It's just 2 pounds.
So what is the difference between the tapping technique that you teach the people who come to see you to help change their lives and neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis? Well,
I love neuro-linguistic programming and I love hypnosis. I think tapping makes them both incredibly better. Because what you're doing people try to change the brain pathways, to change the thought patterns. But why not use the body energies to enhance the process? Because what they have found, this is all new cutting-edge research,
right.
Brain scans show that when you tap on certain points, it shuts down the trauma part of the brain. Now, what is the trauma part of the brain? The trauma part of the brain is the part that has doubts, that has fears, that wants to run. So if you shut down the fear part of the brain, then what you're doing is you are enhancing the ability to make both of those techniques better. And so I use a little bit of neuro-linguistic programming when I do my tapping.
Yes.
And I think it's an excellent technique, but I'll tell you one thing, it makes it 10 times better by using the tapping along with it.
Wow.
It's just we have to remember that the body energies are the same thing as the brain because they're all connected. Our energy, we're all connected with electrical energy. that electrical energy goes through nerve cells. And nerve cells go for the whole body, end up in the brain. So by tapping on the body, we're actually tapping on our brain nerve cells. They're all connected.
What is the age limitation for the tapping method? For example, somebody going to high school, somebody going to college, somebody who is in their middle ages, the seniors listening to the show tonight. Can they all gain from the tapping technique?
Oh, I would. If I wish I had done it when I was in high school.
Really?
It would have changed my life. I tap on my little niece every time I go visit her in Sacramento, and she loves it. And she was having problems getting along with some of the people when she went to church, to the new school. So I tap with her every day over Christmas. I was there for 4 or 5 days. We had fun with the tap. With kids, you don't need to change the brain pathways very, very much by going into old stuff. Because if you just do a few sessions of tapping, their brain pathways, because they haven't been fully developed yet, you can change them rather quickly. And I know many times when I was in sports in high school, I was afraid to come up there at the plate when I was hitting a baseball. If I had the tapping beforehand, I would have been an entirely different baseball player. I'm working with a kid right now. He's 14 years old. Right. And his batting average has gone up 250 points. It was 250. Now he's up to 500. He's getting one hit out of every 2 at bats. Wow. He hasn't made any fielding errors. He's having fun. He can't believe all the changes in my baseball.
Garland, stand by, my friend. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exonation Dr. Garland Landrith is our special guest. You can find out a lot more about the good doctor and get a copy of his CD that's going to change your life at theuniverselieswithin.com. My name is Rob McConnell. I'll be back after this break.
Shine so sincere.
And welcome back, everyone. Dr. Landrith Garland is my special guest. www.tapintobliss.com is his website. And Garland, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's always such a great pleasure talking to you. And you know what? You are making a positive change in this world of ours. And it's just so great talking to people who learn and then pass on the information to make this a better world. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us here tonight on the X Zone.
Oh, it's been exciting. I'm so excited about all the exciting things that you've got going in your shows. It's really heartening to me to see your success.
I thank you, my friend. What would you like to leave the X Zone Nation with tonight, Landrith?
Well, it's the one thing I would say to everyone out there, and we all know, deep down, we all know that positive thoughts can make a difference. Prayers can make a difference. But what I would say is if we add techniques, then their power will be enhanced tremendously. I can't tell you how many people I've started this new technology with, and they've gotten jobs. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people I've been able to get jobs with, and there's no jobs available. But it's amazing. Once you start having to change the energy patterns in your body, it will indeed change the energy patterns in your brain. And you'll be able to manifest the way you could not even believe. So that's why I keep emphasizing the techniques. So since the last time I was here, I didn't really have a DVD, but this time I do. And as you mentioned, it's on Tap Into Bliss. Because what I find is people need to follow along with this technology. Just go around and sitting there tapping on the points is not going to work as very well. And also they need to know what to say while they're tapping. So what I did is I devised a DVD that's simple, easy, and you can follow it step by step. And beginners and advanced people can both use it. I would say probably 25% of the people that take my classes already know about tapping, but they want to expand it. They want to know how to manifest with it. So what I'm doing is I have it so that it's set up, and then there's 6 sections. There's one section on how to tap with positive affirmations. There's another section on how to tap with songs, so you kind of feel the flow of the songs. Another section how to tap with prayers. And there's prayers along with this whole section. So you can tap. So in other words, you don't have to worry about the words or what the prayers to use. And for instance, one of the prayers is St. Francis's prayer, which is an incredible prayer to tap to. Because he says some negative stuff, and then he automatically covers it with positive. It's a beautiful thing to tap to. And then there's some prayerful songs in there, meditative songs for those who meditate. And then there's a section on how to lose weight with it, and then there's a section on how to fall asleep and stay asleep.
You have to come back, my friend. We're not going to let it go as many years as we have, because we still have so much to share, and time has been so fast tonight. And I just want to thank you again, Landrith, for joining us. And, gosh, keep up the great work, friend.
Well, I'm excited, and I've got lots more to talk about. I want to talk about the quantum entanglement from physics and how that is related to the collective consciousness. I think you're going to love it.
You take care of yourself. Dr. Landrith Garland has been my guest this hour. Exonation, www.tapintobliss.com. That's www.tapintobliss.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And I'd also like to welcome a new affiliate back to the X Zone, KKRP Radio 95 in the beautiful state of Oklahoma. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue to investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology. We're right here in the X Zone. Don't go away.